your brain on air. The program will begin shortly. Enjoy.
Slušate svoj mozak uživo. Program će uskoro početi. Uživajte.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Your Brain on Air. I am your host, YBOA Larson, and Fargo PD, quit it with the lectures about public safety in school zones. Just write the ticket, you drag racing slobs, I swear to God. And enough lectures from you of all people. I've seen them. The rumors are they're not rumors. It's true. I've seen them drag racing, and I've seen them turning on their flashing lights in order to skip entire reds. I've seen it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I'm happy to be with you. I not so happy with Fargo as of recent. We're actually gonna, I might be happy as of recent. I might have reasons to be happy because Fargo's about to have a shakeup. Fargo's about to have a change in mayor, as you may or may not be familiar with, as we have midterms coming up. Last time that we had a mayoral election, I wasn't living near the city. I wasn't living near the area. I wasn't living, around the surrounding block. So I really didn't care about what condition the city was in. I wasn't near downtown every now and then. But, given my experience around the city in the recent few years, given my recent experience in Moorhead, given my experience all around the Red River area, I love it. Don't get me wrong. The people are fun. They're great. The ones who live under bridges can be admittedly very polite. You just have to get to know them very well. And I've gotten to know them very well. You know what I mean? You just have to you have to converse with them a little bit. But apparently, we're going to have a shakeup, and as we all are very well aware, elections fix everything in this country. So, I'm hoping that we can pin all of our problems on this next election because we have apparently a few people that are stepping in. We got Big Tubby, State Senator Josh Boshi. He launched a campaign for Fargo mayor. He announced Tuesday he's running to become the next mayor of Fargo. If elected, the former House Minority Leader said he would resign from the state legislature. Quote, "It's a city of 137,000 people, and we've got a lot of needs, and it needs to have my focus," he said in an interview. Quote, "And the residents of District 44 deserve a senator dedicated to the full time to their district." I mean, does that mean that you weren't dedicated to it when you had the job? Okay, whatever. We have instead of him, because I admittedly he doesn't seem like an interesting candidate. We have a lady who is playing mutiny to Tim Mahoney's administration. She is a deputy mayor, and now she's entering the mayoral race. Let's take a look at this clip from Valley News.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us here at 5. I'm Courtney Lockey. We begin tonight with the announcement of Denise Kolpack's run for Fargo mayor. She's officially collecting signatures to get on that June 2026 ballot.
Is she?
Here to break down her campaign is Valley News team's Anna Bolivar. She joins us live tonight in studio with the details. Anna.
Yeah, Courtney, Denise Kolpack has been a part of Fargo City Commission for the last 3 years. She currently served under Mayor Tim Mahoney, whose term ends next year. She announced her campaign today.
Who I will say, listen, she announced her campaign, yes, this is January 5th. Good for her, and I'm happy about it. Tim Mahoney, I believe, when did he win? Was it 2015? I just want to confirm. How long has Mayor been, he didn't win in 2015, won in 2014, and then inaugurated 2015. When did Tim Mahoney become mayor of Fargo? Jeez, why? There we go. I want to make sure that my facts are straight. He became, Fargo mayor of 2015. God, all right, that wasn't that hard.
Fargo.
And the condition of the city admittedly has gotten worse. I will say that just in my few years of living around the area, it has gotten noticeably, like in Moorhead, Dilworth, every single region around the area also noticeably has declined. You drive down Broadway, it's not a nice experience. Like in the daytime, maybe if they've managed to flush out everybody who's wearing like sleeveless shirts in the middle of the day. But otherwise, it looks like Bourbon Street. You know what I mean?
Your elements: public safety, fiscal responsibility, professionalism, and transparency. I spoke with her earlier today on exactly what that means, and what I got from it is that she's looking for change within Fargo City Hall. She used the word dysfunctional, to describe recent city meetings and said steady leadership and transparency within the public are ways she's looking to fix that dysfunction.
Denise
At the
Kolpak.
city commission meeting now, people come to watch the drama, and Fargo deserves better, in my opinion. And I lead by example. I speak factually. I'm prepared. I'm professional. And I won't be afraid to use the gavel from the dais.
Wow.
Now, Kolpak has already been endorsed by the local firefighter labor union. She still needs 300 signatures from Fargo residents to have her name on that June ballot.
Fargo residents, turn up, you know what I mean? Turn up and get a signature, you know what I mean? I know some apartment blocks. I know a few people that you can, show up. You're just gonna have to convince them, you know what I mean, to come out of their meth haze that they're in. I know a few people though. I know quite a few people. I know a few people in Bluemont Lakes. I knew a few people in Hawthorne. I know a few people in, what's that one other neighborhood? Clara Barton. I know a few other people in West Acres. I know a few people around the area. I'm just saying. I can point you in the direction of some nice, true Fargoans, but you know what I mean? They're gonna be in the middle of robbing an abandoned building for its copper piping or another apartment building for its TVs. You know what I mean? I will say this. Admittedly, any new mayor that we around the area get, I think it'll be an upgrade from Tim Mahoney. This absolutely not incompetent. I will not say incompetent. He is rizzless. He is a rizzler. He's supposed to be a rizzler. As mayor, you're supposed to have a level of aura around you. You're supposed to have like this kind of not youthful energy, but you understand the youth. You get the energy of the city. You get the flow of the city. You look at any video, any interview that this guy's given, and he comes across like what is it the Czar or something? Has anybody seen Land of the Lost? And like there's the one guy who's in the tunic, and Danny McBride's like, you don't trust a man in a tunic. He looks like that lizard guy who you're not supposed to trust. I forgot his name, but he's like the main villain. It's a twist villain because in the beginning of the movie he looks like he's gonna help out the crew. But I just spoiled that movie. Anyways, whatever. It's because our mayor in Fargo looks like that. And he's the reason that a lot of the city has fallen into decay, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because he has this very venomous villain energy, which I'm not against. He's welcome to have that. I'm just saying it doesn't look good, especially when he puts on a cowboy hat, like right a couple of months before COVID, and like puts out this video.
Hello, Mayor Reed. This is your friend, Mayor Tim Mahoney from Fargo, North Dakota. I accept your mayor's challenge. Your Dukes are a tough team, but I have complete and total confidence in the Bison pulling out yet another championship.
I don't have confidence in the Bison to pull out anything. They're a bunch of college fellas. I'm around University Drive quite often, and these fellas, let me just tell you, they do not have the energy of people who are interested in pulling out.
If the Dukes win, I'll wear a JMU jersey in a Fargo City Commission meeting. And sweeten the deal by sending you a box of chippers, a North Dakota delicacy.
What?
If the Bison win, well, you can just wear the jersey we sent you last time. I'm looking forward to what should be a great game, and I wish your squad good luck against the mighty Herd. Go Bison.
Yeah, people will tell you, I got into NDSU, like it's a really prideful thing. Listen, admittedly, they went to college, which is a more prideful thing than me. I never went to college, so I'll give them that, admittedly. But from every person that I've heard from who was gone to NDSU, and I've known people who've ended up in NDSU. Let me just tell you this. You need to, here's the qualifications. You need to breathe, and that's it. That's from what these are from people who have graduated from the school. They will tell you that you just have to be able to breathe to attend this school. And you know, that's cool. I admit, that's perfectly chill. I love it. I love that that's where a lot of people end up. That's what we wouldn't have a country without a lot of people who do that. You know what I mean? Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't even our first story. I just wanted to rant a little bit about the mayor candidates of Fargo because it's a city around my area and it affects me because I go to downtown Fargo all the time. I go to West Acres. I hang around the city area all the time, and the condition of the city matters to me. I walk around the parks. I walk around the areas. I walk around the stores, and when I see panhandlers on a lot of street corners, when I see them on University Drive, when I see them on 25th, when I see them on 45th Street, when I and 25th Street, when I see them on Main Street, when I see them on Broadway, like, there's a certain level of urban decay that you can't tolerate. And if you want to look at it yourself, look at the neighborhood crime map. And next time you want to take a look at, look up Fargo crime map, and a lot of neighborhoods, I'm not saying it's most, I'm saying a lot of neighborhoods are orange and redder than you'd like them to be, or at least than the neighborhood residents would like them to be. That's just them. Madison Unicorn Park, they apparently have a really bad presence, and downtown, just saying, that's their perspective, not mine. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't waste any more time. Let's hop into the first story, why don't we? DHS's Greg Bovino, I think it's Bovino, throws a gas canister at Minneapolis protesters in a tense confrontation. Man, things are heating up in the city. Things are getting worse. And I don't like saying that because the city really matters to me. It matters a lot. I love the city. I miss the Mall of America more than anything. I remember riding the Pepsi ride distinctly at 8 years old, 8 or 10. I don't remember my exact age. My memory's fuzzy. And I remember screaming at the top of my lungs, "We're all going to die." And I loved it. It was a great time. I just want to talk about this. Greg Bovino, if you don't know him, he's a high-ranking Border Patrol commander. He's often referred to as the CBP Chief Commander at Large. He's been leading federal immigration enforcement operations in the Twin Cities area. The large surge that we've been covering, the Metro surge and whatnot, they've sparked widespread protests and heated confrontations with demonstrators as we've been covering. There's been video footage that has come out from scenes showing Bovino on a snowy Minneapolis street, issuing repeated verbal warnings to a crowd of protesters and observers. He can be heard shouting phrases like "gas is coming," followed by "get back." I love that song. He's a Beatles fan. That's good. And then, quote, "second warning" and "third warning." He then throws a canister that releases green smoke or gas into the crowd. He's Joker gassing them. I've seen Batman 89. I've seen Batman 80. All these people, they're going to have smiles stuck on their faces. I need to see this footage myself. This is the Joker. Gas is coming. Holy. Downtown Minneapolis is Gotham. Dude, this is that scene. Get up that scene. Hold up. That scene from Batman 89. That scene from Batman 89 where Joker, he invades the museum, and what's her name? I forget the actress's name. She's beautiful. And then he's the Prince song. Oh my God, this is a great movie. Oh my God, if you haven't seen this movie, I'd recommend that you see it. But this is Party Man, gentlemen. This is Ice. Let's broaden our minds, Lawrence. This is Ice right now. Hell yeah, dude, gas these fuckers. Let's do it. What a party! Gas is coming! Back up! This is such a vibe! Throw the canisters at their head! Oh my God. Downtown Minneapolis is such a vibe right now. And then they just tackle a lady with green hair. They're shoving people. You ever seen? I want to take a trip down here, man. Party man. Man. What a tense confrontation. It's carcinogenic. Run! This is awesome, man. They're chasing ICE out of their city. They're like, get out. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're having a very fun time, clearly in the cities. Man, Greg, why'd you do it? That's my question. Why'd you do it? Did you have a justification? Oh my God. People are dispersing. He looks pretty confident. Like, I don't think he's nervous. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Bovino. I mean, if he had to gas them, if he had to make them all submissive, what are we to say? I don't know. Folks, I'm just saying, if you're in Minneapolis, I kind of pity you right now. I kind of pity you, but I'm also like, it's a historic moment, and everybody wishes that they were there for historic moments so they can tell their grandkids, oh yeah, I was there when that one guy stood in the doorway. I was there. I watched Forrest Gump give that one lady her book back. A lot of people, they wish that they were there for historic moments, and you're there. That's the beauty of this, is that you're there. You know what I mean? Federal agents, they're facing more harassment, including being pelted with food, spit on, blocked at gas stations, other locations, according to DHS statements. Protesters, on the other hand, accuse agents of aggressive tactics, especially following the recent decision on that temporarily lifted restrictions on certain crowd control measures. I mean, they're also allowed to go into your homes without warrants now. That's the most interesting fucking thing that no one wants to talk about. That they are allowed to just go, let us in. You know what I mean? It's that one scene from Clue. They're like, let us in, and then you're like, let us out. That's the freaky thing, and then they'll bash down your door. Bovino and DHS officials have defended the actions. They're stating that agents use necessary measures to disperse what they called a hostile crowd and ensure safety during operations. I mean, Batman was there. I saw it. I think they needed to do it. I think they needed to do it. Guys, this is only highlighting the deeper divisions that I'm worrying about in my capital city. Not my capital city, sorry. What should be the capital city? Because St. Paul is an L. Every time I go there, I'm bored. I haven't done it. I haven't done anything in St. Paul that's remotely interesting, and that's because it's filled with a very not remotely interesting people. The people of Superior, Wisconsin have a more fascinating character and species and way of life than the people of St. Paul. It's just a fact. I'm sorry to say it. St. Paul, I love you. I love you so much, but I'm saying that you need to up your game a little bit. You need to have a little bit more. You need to have a little bit more than a higher crime rate than Minneapolis, because admittedly, Minneapolis feels worse. It feels like it should be worse. But when you look at per capita and when you look at by neighborhoods, St. Paul's record is not standing up very nicely. I'm just saying. It's whatever. Work on your city's character just a teensy tiny bit. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking, St. Paulers. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to waste our time anymore. I think that we should actually take a break for an ad real quick. I've got a really good one for today, one loaded up in the cannon. Let's fire it. Are you tired of facts ruining your narrative? Introducing our sponsor for today, PityCam, revolutionary new body cam alternative that actually works for you, for those cold, objective, forget those cold, objective police videos that make you look like the problem. With PityCam, patented victim vision technology, our discreet, always-on hidden cameras capture every single second of your public emotional unraveling in glorious tear-streaked 4K, but with the intelligent AI filters that automatically soften the lighting on your face. They amplify sympathetic sniffles. They mute any inconvenient racial slurs or a weapon brandishing you may have in your hand. They overlay a subtle violin swell for maximum viral sympathy. Whether you were pulled over for doing 95 in a school zone while live streaming your road rage manifesto, or deciding to resist arrest while performing an art piece, PityCam guarantees the internet sees only one thing: An innocent soul cruelly prosecuted by the big man. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go over there and I want you to subscribe today and join the thousands of satisfied customers who've turned their routine traffic stops into million-view sob stories for just $19.99 a month plus $99 activation fee for the enhanced sob optimization. You'll get unlimited cloud storage. Go to instant GoFundMe integration and our exclusive auto excuse generator that appends perfect captions like, "This is what systematic oppression looks like." And he was just reaching for his emotional support vape. Act now and receive a free "Justice is Blind to Privilege" bumper sticker. Because in 2026, the real crime isn't what you did, it's just getting caught on the wrong camera. Pity cam, because sometimes the truth needs a good cry filter. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to hop on over to our next story because it really matters to me personally. It doesn't matter to the rest of the world, but that's what makes it even more fun to talk about. Oh, the 2026 Oscars. Oh my God, the nominations, ladies and gentlemen. The 98th, is it now? Yes, the 98th Oscar Academy Awards. I mean, they're honoring the films from last year. They were announced, January 22nd. They're marking a dramatic, record-breaking start. For the final stretch of award season, Ryan Coogler's vampire epic Sinners dominated the morning's reveals by securing an unprecedented 16 nominations, surpassing the previous record of 14 shared by All About Eve, Titanic, and La La Land. So listen, and I must admit, maybe I just need to watch it because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Sinners. I didn't know it was a vampire movie, and now I'm interested now. I know that, what's his name? Michael B. Jordan, he plays like two people. I think that's it. It's gotten the most nominations of any movie ever, which is interesting, which is curious, and I'll watch it. I guess I gotta watch it if it's that good. The film earned a lot of nods across major categories, including Best Picture, Best Director for Coogler, and Best Actor for Michael B. Jordan in dual roles as twin brothers. The critical success that movie's had has been ridiculous. Close behind was Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another, with 13 nominations, Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actor for Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, other strong performers included Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein and Sentimental Value, each with 9 nods, as well as Marty Supreme. That movie had, what's his name in it? The Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. Apparently he has a really erotic moment. Not erotic because I don't think that they're into it, but I think that it's just filmed erotically where he punishes Timothée Chalamet with a ping pong paddle. It's very bizarre. I don't know what else to say. Excuse me, Marty Supreme and Hamnet and several others, rounding out a diverse Best Picture slate. Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Notably absent, Wicked for Good. I mean, the highly anticipated sequel, it flopped. Received 0 nominations. I mean, it got a lot of earlier buzz, but admittedly, it just did not get the kind of critical attention that you'd expect it to. And I will say, for someone who saw the first movie in theaters, I didn't see the second one. Because I heard that it just wasn't as good. Sorry to say it, it just didn't sound as good. I will be watching this year's Oscars because I enjoy the Oscars every year, even though they're kind of pointless, and they just produce a lot of embarrassing moments, like Adrian Brody, his embarrassing speech. Last year you have Golden Globes. I love award shows because they just produce a lot of fun moments. You got Timothée Chalamet saying he wants to be one of the greats and everybody shitting on him for it because admittedly it just kind of sounds cringe, you know what I mean? Conan O'Brien is going to host again this year, which, God, I cannot wait. I loved him last year, and we got him on Good Morning America because of this. Yay.
I know what you're thinking. Did Conan not have work done? Seriously. He looks his age.
Conan is back, throwing out the first pitch for Oscars 2026 after earning rave reviews as host last year. You were hired for this show, rehired back in March.
Yeah.
Have you done any work at all to prepare?
Yeah, mostly cosmetic. I want to look like Oscar on Oscar night. Yeah, so I've had a lot of areas smoothed, some removed. That's going to be good.
What kind of tricks do you have up your sleeve for 2026 then?
You know, we have a lot of possibilities. Early on, you just generate possibilities for the show. What might we do? You have to wait and see which movies are nominated, what's in the zeitgeist. So there'll be a lot of ideas that come in late. Sometimes those are the best ideas.
Do you have songs and dances perhaps in mind?
I'll reveal nothing, but I will say there'll be a lot of magic. There'll be some explosions. CGI will be used.
For fun.
I see this second Oscars as an opportunity to take things up a notch.
I cannot wait. The Conan O'Brien, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be great. CBS News, what do you got to say?
The battle for the best films in Hollywood is on. The nominees for the 98th Academy Awards were just announced. Here to break them all down is our friend Eric Davis. He's a correspondent for Fandango and Rotten.
He has a douchebag's hat. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I have to put this video in the description of this video now because admittedly people will be like, what do you mean he looks like a douchebag? What do you mean he looks like a loser? He just has this little funny Irishman hat with a sweater and then a checkered dress shirt under it with the collar popped out and then like this corduroy fucking blazer. He just like the vibe. He serves a really nice kind of mix of leprechaun, coal miner. I work in the Pacific rail industry. I don't know.
Tomatoes, the man who knows movies like no other. Welcome.
What's going on?
So, Oscars, baby.
What's
Oscars
going
are
on?
Let's begin with Best Picture. Here are the nominees. One Battle After Another, Sinners, Hamnet, Sentimental Value, Marty Supreme, Frankenstein, Train
I bet.
Dreams, The Secret Agent, Begonia, and F1.
One battle after another. One battle after another.
Yeah, I mean,
That's my
I
guess.
love F1, but how do you not start on Sinners?
Yes, let's start on Sinners.
16 overall nominations. It made Oscars history this morning for the most nominated film ever. 14 nominations previously, a tie between 3 films. So Sinners coming out of the gate, a lot of first-time nominations. Ryan Coogler for Best Director, Wunmi Mosaku, Michael B. Jordan, Delroy Lindo at age 73
Love
with
Delroy
his first
Lindo,
nomination.
yes.
So just, I mean, a fantastic story for an original film. Box office sensation, pop culture sensation, best reviewed film of the year on Rotten Tomatoes, also the audience favorite of the year. So just a really great story for like cinema. Like if you look at the definition of greatness in cinema, like that has to be it. Like show me something that's different. Okay,
Damn, I've got to see this movie. All right, I'll dedicate a whole thing to it maybe. I just got to watch it. I got to watch Sinners, apparently.
I mean, we were talking about this before. I mean, do you think, though, that they'll walk away with anything? Is this just going to be the most nominated film? Because
If Lost Boys didn't win Best Picture when it came out, I don't think this one's taking it.
Golden Globes, you didn't see them walk away with any of the major
And the
awards.
point that when we were doing CBS Mornings,
I think they're a show. You know what I mean? As in, like, you grab certain movies and you nominate them to get people pulled in. You know how Dark Knight was nominated for a few great things, but it wasn't even nominated for Best Picture. It didn't win or anything like that. I think that they pick certain movies, give them certain nominations just to pull people in to watch those segments.
I was racking my brain. I said to Eric and to Gail and Nate, I know there's another big Hollywood movie that was nominated, like, with a lot of nominations and did not win anything. It came to me just 10 minutes ago, The Color Purple. Color Purple was nominated. It was Steven Spielberg directed it, right? 11
The Color
nominations,
Purple.
big goose egg. And so it made me a little nervous to see as many nominations, because you could almost say, look at this film, it's got 16 nominations, so that's pretty good. But you didn't win anything.
Yeah, like almost like that's your win.
There you go.
But I mean,
it's just nice to be nominated.
You know, it is up against One Battle After Another, and that, you know, best.
That's
director,
what I said.
Thomas Anderson, Best Picture. It's been winning those 2 awards, and I think there's also a sense. I mean,
That's what I
great,
said.
but there's also a sense
That's
of,
what I
is
said.
Thomas Anderson do? Is this his year? You know, you look at guys like Martin Scorsese when he won for The Departed, or even Christopher Nolan when he won for Oppenheimer. I think.
What do you mean, is this Paul
Thomas
Thomas Anderson's year?
And so I think that's also with Paul Thomas Anderson. If Sinners wins, I could see why.
The best thing you can attribute to Paul Thomas Anderson would be There Will Be Blood, maybe not Boogie Nights. I'm sorry to say it. It's not one for their history books. Punch Drunk Love, joke. The Master is a pretty good movie. I like that one. That's the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman, Joaquin Phoenix. It's It's kind of not as an allegory, analog, whatever it is. It's reminiscent of L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology. It's a very good movie. It's kind of set right after World War II. I recommend it. The Master, very good movie. Anybody want to check out one of his before movies? If you liked One Battle After Another, you might like that one.
Great. Yeah. I could see Best Casting going to Sinners. We saw that split at the Critics' Choice Awards. Yeah. Sinners casting, One Battle took Best Picture. So we'll see. I really hope it does get some of those wins because I think it deserves it. And I mean, you're making history. You know, I think it's great.
Well, speaking of casting, I mean, there's that new category. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I think it's fun, you know. I actually sat with the casting director for One Battle After Another and that whole crew at the Critics' Choice Awards, and I was talking to her about this category, and, you know, it's a wild card, but I think it's great to just honor, like, that job and putting these ensemble casts together. I thought, actually, there's a snub there. I thought Sentimental Value should have been in that category. Multiple acting nominations for that film. But, you know, Sinners, One Battle, I mean, fantastic ensembles, and
Before we go, Eric, real quickly, rapid fire, who do you like Best Actor?
I would say Timothy Chalamet.
Ooh,
no.
I'm going Leo.
I'm going to no. Come on.
You're going Timothy.
He already ate a heart of a whatever.
Leo will get one. Timothy will get one in 5 years. Who do you like for Best Actress?
Jessie Buckley, without a doubt.
Jessie Buckley, I'm agreeing. Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah. Best Supporting Actress, I gotta go Tiana.
Tiana. And Best Supporting Actor?
Best Supporting Actor, Stellan Skarsgård or Jacob Elordi, Frankenstein.
Yeah, Jacob Elordi.
Jacob Elordi.
All right, brother. Thank you very much, Eric Davis. Always great to have.
All right, Jacob Elordi. I guess I gotta watch Frankenstein then. I'll watch Frankenstein, something like that. You know what I mean? I just gotta watch more shit. I guess it's made. I didn't expect Sinners to make that much history, and maybe it's because I was one of the normal people who saw it come out earlier in the year, and I was like, oh, interesting. It's like a couple black people, they're hanging out in a barn or something like that, and then they're dancing to music. Maybe it's like a turn of the century movie where I don't know, they're doing. I just didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? Just the trailers were very. I suspected that maybe like one of the people was going to be like a killer or something. I didn't assume that it would be a vampire movie. I don't. Who knows? Whatever it turned out being, it wasn't what I expected. But now it's made Oscar history.
The box office smash Sinners, very much in the club this AM, with an astonishing 16 Oscar nominations in all, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Original Screenplay for Ryan Coogler, and Best Actor for Michael B. Jordan in his dazzling dual role.
You boys twins? Nah, we cousins.
It's a 13 meeting the moment morning for Oscar favorite One Battle After Another, with an amazing 4 acting nominations, plus adapted screenplay and director honors for Paul Thomas Anderson. In Best Animated Feature, Zootopia 2, Elio, and K-pop Demon Hunters honored, along with the immensely popular and catchy Golden for Best Original Song.
It's gonna win. Sorry to say, that one's taking it home.
As well as Diane Warren's Dear Me.
Sure. If that one wins, that would be a joke. They have Ghislaine Maxwell playing the piano.
This is a song. I mean, I put my heart and soul into every song I write for a movie or that I write. This was special that I wrote this song for a movie that's about my life, you know. And yet the song, and I wanted to write a song for that young girl that was bullied and didn't have a really easy time growing up. But the interesting thing is, I didn't really have anything time growing up. To so many people, because I think we all have that wounded child in us.
The Academy showering love on director Josh Safdie's wild ride ping pong romp Marty Supreme, with 9 nominations, including Best Director and Best Actor kudos for Timothy Chalamet.
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
Wheaties box. He was supposed to be playing a New York Jew, by the way. I don't know if anybody could tell, but I watched this accent expert breakdown on TikTok, and I was like, oh, he was based off of that real person? Oh, weird. I would have never guessed it because he just sounds like Timothy Chalamet. So apparently, I haven't seen the movie. Once again, haven't seen Marty Supreme. I just didn't feel like it. It didn't feel like it was worth seeing, you know. It started with Forever Young and a sperm going into an egg. I was like, ugh, I'm off put. It's all right, whatever. I don't care. I'll watch Frankenstein maybe. I don't know.
Frankenstein hailed with 9 nominations for its visuals and, speaking of breathtaking, for Jacob Elordi in Best Supporting Actor. And on Chloe Zhao's Hamnet with an acting nom for Jessie Buckley, as well as Kate Hudson for her performance in the musical biopic Song Sung Blue.
Oh boy, am I.
Norway's Sentimental Value receiving 9 nominations, including Best Picture, Supporting Actor Stellan Skarsgård, Supporting Actress Elle Fanning, and Inga Ibsdottir Lilius.
It's something I never thought I was sort of like going to ever be a part of, so it feels very surreal, but also it feels very good that...
I've noticed that there's no transgender actresses like last year. Remember when Emilia Perez, that movie came out in 2024, and they were honoring it in the 2025 Oscars, and controversially, because the main actress of that movie was a born man playing a female who chooses to live as a female in his life and in her life. I assume that's how she would like to be referred to as, but controversially, a transgender actress who only transitioned at the age of, I believe it was 45, was nominated for Best Actress. She didn't win, of course. It ended up going to the one who played Honora, the prostitute, that movie. I ended up watching Honora, that movie. I'm sorry, he's the same guy who did Red Rocket. He's the same guy who did The Florida Project with Willem Dafoe. Sorry, he writes about prostitutes a lot, and I think that it just kind of is one of the... Sean Baker, that director, I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of his things. I watched Honora. It's not that it was a bad movie. It was just that it was, like, pointless at near the end. You watch this horror that was, like, she... kind of in a weird way takes advantage of this like 80 IQ, like mentally disabled, not even mentally disabled, he's just like a retard, like a dumb idiot, Russian kind of son of an oligarch, something like that, and then she gets married to him. It's like a reverse Cinderella story is what they described it as. And then they romp around, they go with the crew, the Russian, I think they're Russian. I don't remember I think they're Russian. He disappears after they get married, after like a night of drinking, and then the Russians come here to the place where they were sleeping, they tie her up, and then they romp around the city looking for the husband. He ends up getting found in a nightclub at the end, and then he's just drunk, doesn't talk, he's too laughy, can't talk to her seriously, and then his mom comes and is like, we're dissolving this marriage, it's not working, and then she's like, no, I don't wanna, and then they're like, we'll give you a bunch of money, and then she goes, okay, sure. She signs the papers, they get divorced, she gets driven home by one of the goons for the movie that was like, he tied her up originally and put her in the chair when they were first broke in, and like, at the beginning of the movie, whatever. And then, as he's about to be like, all right, you can go home, she proceeds to seduce and she then like sits on his lap, and then it's implied that she has sex with him, and then like, it's just fucking, and then she like smacks him and gets mad, and she's like, and then he hugs her, and then it ends with her crying in his arms, and it's supposed to be like this commentary about how she like admittedly she does want this free life, but eventually deep down she does want to be taken care of. It's a really dumb movie that ends very shallowly, and you watch it and you end up going at the very end, you're like, this went nowhere, and I feel like I've wasted my time. So I just broke that movie down for you, saving you a lot of time, and I wouldn't recommend it. It's kind of it's a romp, it's a waste of time. It's not that's just me talking.
A Norwegian small movie can actually be nominated. It's amazing. I feel very emotional.
I'm sure you do.
For them. I know people have worked very hard.
And lead actress Renata Reinsve.
I'm just in a little bit of shock. This is surreal to me. I'm just really honored and so proud to be in that group of nominees. It's a lot of champagne. It's a lot of
champagne.
And we'll be getting you up to speed on these lucky few as we get you ready for the Oscars on March 15th. For now, congratulations to all the nominees, guys.
Congratulations to all the nominees. Ladies and gentlemen, March 15th on a Sunday will be the Oscars. So, in honor of such, Your Brain on Air Studios will be hosting the Your Brain on Air Awards on March 16th, that Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, normally on Mondays you have nothing to look forward to, but March 16th, Ollie Vogt Larson will be hosting the Your Brain on Air Awards, where we will be honoring people who are able to disturb the general zeitgeist of the population. That will be what we honor, ladies and gentlemen, and be here for it. We have the nominees. They will be announced, I don't know, maybe sometime in February. That feels like a good time. So look for that around Valentine's Day, maybe. They can then the nominees, they have time to think about it. They have time to know. So, I cannot wait. We will be honoring my favorite people and just the best people that we've known about and covered in 2025. And then I can't wait for it next year. Maybe we'll make it a yearly thing. That'll be fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how you feel about the nominees. I feel all right about it. I've known a lot of people who are recommending One Battle After Another. My parents watched it. They're like, you gotta watch One Battle After Another. And I'm like, all right, I'll watch it. Apparently it's really good. I didn't know that Leonardo DiCaprio was still able to do the... Listen, maybe I'm like one of those people, but like I think he's like old now, isn't he? I look at him and I think that he's like in his 50s. He's 51 years old. He was born November 11th, 1974. In my head, I was going, okay... He was a young guy in the 90s, and for some reason that's really weird for my head to, comprehend, but it's like, and then What's Eating Gilbert Grape, he was even younger. That was 1993, right? Or, yeah. And then Titanic was 97. And then Wolf of Wall Street, he was like in his 30s, early 40s maybe. And then The Revenant, obviously. He's getting up there is what I'm saying, you know what I mean? And maybe it's just because he's like of a generation of actors where like they're just starting to get into that, like, oh, maybe he's becoming like a George Clooney figure, you know what I mean? He's of a certain age where we can start looking at him like, oh, you know what I mean? Maybe you can settle down. You know what I mean? Maybe the dating 20-year-olds. I'm not going to say that he can't. I'm not going to say that he can't do that. He absolutely can if that's what he wants to do. But, just image-wise, maybe he's going to be more of a Hugh Hefner than... Because George Clooney, he settled down. That's what I'm saying, is that even George Clooney eventually settled down. I can't wait for Conan O'Brien to host. It's going to be March 15th. I'll tell you all what I thought about it. Probably Tuesday, because we're going to dedicate most of Monday to the awards. So, who knows? We're going to figure it out, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to the rapid fire section of today's headlines, because there's too much to cover. There's too much to talk about. First things first, Trump has launched a Board of Peace at Davos. President Donald Trump signed the founding charter of his controversial Board of Peace at the World Economic Forum in Davos. He intended it to serve as the new global conflict mediation body, originally tied to the Gaza ceasefire plans. The initiative has drawn a lot of skepticism because the major U.S. allies are largely absent, and critics argue that it could undercut establishment international institutions like the United Nations. Whatever. We'll work it out without the United Nations. Who needs the United Nations? Kevin Spacey declared war on them in that one Call of Duty game, right? He was like, the problems start with you. And it's like, he goes really serious. I love when he does the serious voice. It's not quite Frank Underwood because he doesn't put on the Southern accent, but it's that one particular way that he speaks that just communicates broad authority. I like it. Trump and Zelensky, they're holding high-level talks. I mean, they're switching their Pokemon cards. They're meeting at Mom's house to talk about Beyblades, and I love it. At Davos, he met with the Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky. They agreed that they need to bolster Ukrainians' air defense and signal optimism about the upcoming trilateral peace talks involving Russia. Zelensky, criticized Europe's slow security response. I mean... Apparently that he's not a fan of them. I mean, he can have all the issues he wants. He still has to work within our framework. Speaking of frameworks, Greenland crisis and transatlantic diplomacy talks lately have announced that Trump, he's coming out and he's saying, look, we got a framework to a future deal with NATO on Greenland, temporarily backing down from tariff threats against European allies. Tied to U.S. ambitions around the Arctic, NATO officials emphasize the joint Arctic security tasks, but Denmark and Greenland insist their sovereignty is non-negotiable. European leaders are remaining very, very cautious, but we got this clip from ABC News.
Departing Davos just hours after backing off his threats to take Greenland by force and scrapping plans to impose tariffs on European allies who are not on board. The president sitting down with NATO Secretary General, emerging with a framework of a deal. The president claiming the U.S. will take full control of Greenland, but not telling us how.
You have control of all of Greenland, Mr. President?
How many countries?
You will have control of all of Greenland?
But the Danish...
He did it, guys. I mean, I'm calling it right now. Before 2026, the closest thing America will have to Agartha will no longer be Alaska. It's going to be Greenland. It's going to be Greenland. We're going to do it. And I know a lot of people, they're going to go, it's just not ethical. It's just not ethical. It doesn't mean we're not going to do it. Doesn't mean we're not going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, because that is the American way. Doesn't mean it, just because it's ethical doesn't mean that we're not going to do it. That's how we've always done things in this country. That's how a lot of people, and admittedly, a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but that's how a lot of us ended up in this country. A lot of us, we immigrated. You're either a white person from a white country, or you're from one of the third world countries that we pillaged, and we were sacred enough to grab one of your ancestors and bring them on over. You know what I mean? One of our people who went over and fought in that country said, "Ooh, you're pretty, and I like you, and let's do the marriage thing, but let's head over to my place because your place sucks." Because admittedly, you know what I mean? When you look at per capita income, you look at Algeria, you look at Japan after World War II, you look at all of these other places that we went in and we fucked it up. With Panama, you know what I mean? After we overturned their dictator and whatnot, under George Bush and whatnot. That's what I'm saying, is that we go in, we overturn places, and then when the soldiers are hanging around the spots, they go, "Hey, I like you and you like me, but we don't love the idea of raising a family around this area." You know what I mean? Where per capita, people are making $100 a year that they can spend on fun things. Let's go to America where shit is rocking. And that's what people do. That's what people have done forever. And that's what we're going to do in Greenland, except we're not going to overturn their government. We're hopefully not going to have boots on the ground anytime soon. So it's going to go, hopefully, admittedly, a lot smoother, you know?
The minister has made it clear Greenland is not for sale. The White House not providing any further details about a framework or deal.
Does it still include the United States having ownership of Greenland like you said you wanted?
It's a long-term deal. It's the ultimate long-term deal. And I think it puts everybody in a really good position, especially as it pertains to security and minerals and everything else.
This morning, NATO Secretary General telling Reuters the deal calls for allies to step up their Arctic security measures and believes it can be done early this year. The president has insisted the U.S. needs Greenland for national security, but an existing agreement already allows the president to expand American military presence on the island. On the world stage, the president repeatedly bashing America's European allies who have been critical of his goal.
Certain places in Europe are not even recognizable, frankly, anymore. They're not recognizable. And we can argue about it, but there's no argument.
His threat to hit our allies would see tariffs sent the market tumbling, something the president himself acknowledged, as he repeatedly confused Greenland with the country of
Iceland.
Not there for us, son.
How do you fuck this up? I'm not even going to lie. I love that, by the way, he's doing this in Davos, Switzerland. He's doing this in a very peaceful, generally, a neutral country. He's going in and he's saying, if you're not there for us on certain matters, there for certain countries, we will remember.
Recognizable, frankly, anymore. They're not recognizable. And we can argue about it, but there's no argument.
No argument.
Iceland, that I can tell you. I mean, our stock market took the first dip yesterday because of
Iceland.
So Iceland's already cost us a lot of money.
The president now says he will not use military force to seize Greenland, but he knocked the critical NATO alliance that came to America's defense after the 9/11 attacks, the first and only time Article 5 was ever invoked.
Wow.
They have a choice. You can say yes, and we will be very appreciative, or you can say no, and we will remember.
And Denmark making it clear this morning they're willing to negotiate on all political matters, from the economy to security, but they say they will not negotiate when it comes to their sovereignty. This morning, the president met with his proposed board of peace to map out the future of Gaza. It is notable just how few European allies are sitting on that board, given all of these tensions happening abroad. And the president also plans to meet with President Zelensky of Ukraine this morning as well. Robin.
All right, Rachel, thank you for your reporting.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you for your reporting. We appreciate it. I mean, there's, besides this, there's massive protests in Israel over crime and a lot of government policies. Tens of thousands have rallied in Israel protesting government's failure to curb crime within Arab communities. They're clashing with police in halted demonstrations in parts of the country. The unrest is reflecting a lot of the deep social and political fractures at home amid the ongoing regional tensions in that area. I'm glad I'm not Israeli, so I'm glad I don't have to worry about it. Jack Smith is also to testify before the House Judiciary Committee, if you don't already know. The former special counsel, Jack Smith, who charged Trump with criminal offenses in 2 jurisdictions, is scheduled to testify publicly before the House Judiciary Committee. It's, you know, maybe he did it. Maybe I don't know what he did. It's obvious that he overstepped his boundary by performing law. That's not within his jurisdiction. U.S. rule of law is also under scrutiny by a legal coalition. The International Coalition of Legal Groups designated the U.S. as a focus of the 2026 International Day of Endangered Lawyer. I mean, what? Of the Endangered Lawyer, citing political intimidation of judges and attorneys under the current administration, a symbolic blow to the American reputation for legal independence. That sucks. That sucks. I mean, I guess I better get pretty positive on the administration if I want a good day in court. That's all I'm saying. The EU Parliament is freezing Mercosur, also the Mercosur trade agreement. They sent the long predicted Mercosur trade agreement to the EU Court of Justice, a move that may delay the pact by at least 2 years. Sucks for them. They're also calling for unity amid great power pressures. The German Chancellor Friedrich Merz urged European unity and enhanced competitiveness in response to the global great power politics, signaling a push for the EU to strengthen themselves and their internal cohesion amid the transatlantic relations shift. There's a lot, if you get stronger, I don't think they'll be able to pull off the United States across the pond with because obviously the states are different. You go to Iowa and they're a little bit different than Minnesota, but it's not the difference between France and Germany. That's all I'm going to say. Iowan people can speak the same language as people from Minnesota. I mean, admittedly, people from France learned how to speak German in most instances, but whatever. It's like, it's a different world over there. Gaza in the Middle East, international conflict. We're going to cover that later. We'll do more of that later, but it's just not, I'm not in the mood for that. Nobody wants to talk about it, but let's talk about our final headline instead. This one before we move on to our final story. The U.S. withdrawal from the WHO has become official. The United States has formally exited the World Health Organization after decades of membership, deepening the fractures within global health institutions, and prompting a debate on whether the future U.S. administrations may rejoin depending on leadership and policy priorities. Who knows? They may, if they feel like it, if they really do. I mean, I love that instead of focusing on that, we're focusing on the story of America, ladies and gentlemen. We're focusing on the story of America because this was uploaded 23 hours ago. I don't know if you caught this. By the White House. This was uploaded for the country's 250th birthday.
In the sweltering summer of 1776, 56 patriots gathered in a meeting hall in Philadelphia and signed their names to a document that would change the course of history forever. The Declaration of Independence, and I have it right there.
Right there.
What a beauty.
What a beauty.
Not only did they sever the political bonds with Great Britain, they announced a new era in human events, proclaiming that all...
I like that in the spirit of what he's done to the Constitution, he has it hung on his wall like a prized buck, which is I like it. I like it because what I love about this administration, it's all on the surface. It's all on the surface. It is all on the surface, which makes it undeniable. Admittedly, it is hard to accuse somebody of having a harsh, very authoritarian 1984 aesthetic. You know what I mean? If the Rose Garden is just bulldozed and replaced with concrete, it's almost like the joke can't be made because the joke is reality. Does that make sense in a weird way where it's like they've gone so far with the image. They've gone so far with the image of like masked balls of like furries attending Mar-a-Lago. Like they're dancing at Mar-a-Lago with furry masks on, and they have like these French garbs with like the frilly things on. What I'm saying is that the America and the reality is so far beyond a level of actual satire that the reality is the satire, making the satire no longer funny. So if you just talk about reality, it's almost funnier than any satire you could ever write. Am I on a level that anybody's able to understand? You know what I mean?
All of us are endowed by our Creator with rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yes.
In our war for independence and every generation since, thousands of American patriots have enlisted their lives in defense of that cause. From Trenton to Yorktown, from Gettysburg to
Little St. James,
to Chambersburg, from the fields of France to the shores of the Philippines, and on the battlefields all over the world.
I don't know if the Philippines is one we want to brag about.
Every generation of Americans has drawn meaning and been inspired by the immortal deeds of the founding generation and the nation they gave us to build and to defend. In 2.5 centuries, that's 250 years, the spirit of 1776 has carried our flag to places and heights that our founding fathers could never have dreamed.
Never.
Americans forged into the frontier and blazed across the Great Plains. We tamed the Wild West. We pushed the boundaries of scientific discovery.
My guy just played Red Dead, and he's like, we crossed the Great Plains to West Elizabeth, and we went all the way to New Austin.
We enlightened the world with electricity and commerce. We defeated tyrants and vanquished dictators, and we planted the American flag on the moon. We owe it all to the patriots and heroes of 1776.
And the Germans, we owe it to the Germans in particular on the moon landing, actually, because we wouldn't have been able to do that without Werner von Braun. Let's call out Werner von Braun. Can he stand up, actually? Werner von Braun. He's one of the most famous Nazis that we actually inherited via Operation Paperclip. Operation Paperclip, if you don't know about it. It was the United States' operation to inherit many scientists of the Nazi party, Germans. We moved them to the United States. We gave them American identities. We gave them social security cards. We really just kind of hid them in our society. And they advanced us medically. They advanced us societally. And we really wouldn't be where we are without the Nazis. So really, can we get a standing ovation for the Nazis?
This is the story of America. We're excited to retell one of the greatest tales in the history of mankind, working with Hillsdale College and some of our country's brightest leaders and foremost thinkers who have contributed to the Story of America video series, including Vice President J.D. Vance,
Yes.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Dr. Larry Arnn, Eric Metaxas, Brian Kilmeade, and many others.
Brian Kilmeade.
Join us in honoring this incredible history, and together we will give America the greatest birthday celebration our country has ever seen. God bless you, and God bless America.
God bless you. God bless you, and God bless America, man. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's gonna be great. I 250 guys. We made it. We really did make it. I mean, speaking of JD Vance, this is just another headline we can cover quick. He's still on his way to Minnesota. He's gonna heal the divide, as we all know. He's going to heal us as a nation. He's going to make everybody happy again, because as we all know, I think his face is the best thing to unite us all. I think we should just jump into our final story, ladies and gentlemen. Mamdani, ladies and gentlemen, Zohran Mamdani. He's my favorite gentleman out of NYC as of late, except for Curtis Sliwa, who would have admittedly been a better mayor, a more entertaining personality, but whatever. I like that Zohran Mamdani, in the short amount of time he's been there, he's been in tenants' homes, he's been taking his blazer off with his tucked-in nice dress shirt, he's been kneeling down and looking at black mold in tenants' buildings. I love it, and it's beautiful, and it's a beautiful thing. And if you don't know this, he has weighed in on the crackdown in Minnesota, and he's also revealed that he's been texting with Trump. This is all coming out. Let's buckle up for today's episode of What in the Fresh Hell Is This, ladies and gentlemen. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani, he just popped up on The View, man. He is here. It was like a fever dream. I was like, wait a minute, he's there of all people. I was looking forward to it. He went ahead, and here's the scene. There's a tragic mess going on in Minnesota. ICE raid gone sideways. People are very upset. Renee Good gets fatality shot by agents. We all know the situation. Mamdani calls it murder on national TV. The whole place erupts like it's a fucking protest. They're cheering him. They're like, yes, obviously, it's a murder. Trump administration's doubling down on the crackdown, man. I'm not going to tell you what he said. I'm going to show you what he said.
His inauguration on New Year's Eve.
I love Sister Act. Thank you, Whoopi Goldberg. I appreciate you.
Day, announcing a new generation of leadership for America's biggest city. He ran a historic campaign with big promises that caught the attention of the entire nation, and you know who. So here to tell us how he plans to deliver, please welcome back, we can say it now. Yes. He is the mayor of New York City, Zohran.
Yeah, come on out. His nice little suit. Sunny Austin's got her beach curls. He's right in between my two favorites, Sunny Austin and Joy Behar, because they're the cuntiest, and they always have the funnest little facts where they like to chirp up, and half the time they're wrong, which is fine. Which is what I love about The View, because most of the time they're wrong, but they're so sure of it themselves. Just like my show, that's what makes it entertaining.
What's up? Anything new going on?
It's been pretty slow going.
Yeah, just chilling.
Just clock in, clock out.
It
is lovely to be back.
Good.
Thank you.
So you've been on the job, for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So
what have you got done?
What's it feeling like?
I'll be honest, it feels incredible.
Yeah.
This is the dream of a lifetime. And we've always wanted to build a city government that moves as fast as New Yorkers do.
What have you done?
When a New Yorker's trying to walk somewhere, you don't get in their way.
Oh.
City government hasn't felt like that for a long time. So we've wanted to say that there's not going to be any problem too big or too small for us to address. So day one, we put bad landlords on notice right after that inauguration speech.
Day one, we put women in hijabs. No more showing their ankles. Enough of this shit. Enough of these whores walking around. You know what I mean? We put the children back in the coal mines. We need to put the children to work. You're either a child of the fields or you're a child of the tents. You either study or you work.
Day 6, we fixed a bump on the Williamsburg Bridge. Day 8, we announced more than $1 billion in funding for universal child care.
That was a huge bump, by the way.
Where's that money coming from?
That's coming from the state. And what that does is it allows us to fix universal child care for 3-year-olds and deliver it for 2-year-olds. We actually have a mother in the audience, Mallory, who is here with us and who, when the announcement was made, texted her husband to say, it might be time for a second kid. And I think so often we think that these are decisions families are making on their own, but really we're giving them no choice when we say that childcare costs $25,000, $26,000 a year. Now it's something that they can actually get for free.
Yeesh. Good for them. We're able to scam the government so much easier. Listen, you can walk up to a government agent and you can just say, I have a daycare. You don't have to take them there to show it. You don't have to show it to paperwork. They will just hand you a check for $250 per kid. You'll go, I actually have 3 kids. And then they will hand you $750. This is no lie. This is New York now.
We all know you're a charm.
More sincere than
But you're totally filled with charm. And the one who's really taken with you is Trump. I mean, and what's interesting is that you called him a fascist to his face, a dream I've always had, and with his blessing. And then we saw you, talking to him that day, and he seemed to be madly in love with you that day. There was a bromance forming. And then now I understand that you were texting to each other. Can I see the text?
I don't have my phone with me.
Right? Very, very convenient.
Don't we have a clip of the meeting?
So what's going on with you two?
Hopefully a really great mayor. The better he does, the happier I am. I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he's going to be. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually. But I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that insulting.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say yes. Okay. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
So obviously you've gone for the Trump offensive as opposed to Governor Newsom, who's on the attack. Now, maybe yours is going to work because we know he's totally egomaniacal and narcissistic, and anytime you compliment him, he likes you. Is that your intention?
I think my intention is about being honest and direct with the president.
Yeah.
And I think there are many disagreements the two of us have. There's no shortage of them. One thing that we do have in common is that we both love New York City.
We love the spirit of New York. We love seeing human animals, like the zoo. You know the zoo where you'd go there as a kid, you'd feed the goats out of your hand, and your mom would be like, "Go make sure to use the hand sanitizer." Now you can do that, except you're walking through Central Park and your kid is doing that without your permission, feeding a homeless man the extra gum, not extra as in like you had a spare gum in your bag. I mean the brand XTRA gum. That's what it is. And he's feeding the homeless man out of your bag. That's what it is. That maybe you have candies, maybe you have like mints, Tic Tacs, I don't know. And then your kids, they can take the Tic Tacs and they can put it in the palm of their hand. They can throw it on the sidewalk, and you can watch the homeless people come out of the woods. They're like animals. They're like woodland critters. And then they swarm the little mints on the ground and they pick them up, and that's kind of what. And that's the energy that both of these men love about New York. The energy that I love about any big major city. That's kind of like if you go to any park in Minneapolis, it's starting to get that bad. It's starting to get to the point, and it has been that bad throughout the 2020s. Admittedly, it wasn't nearly this bad in the 2010s, crime report-wise also. You can just look at the numbers. You know what I mean? Whatever. I'm not going to interrupt him.
We're both New Yorkers. And so for that entire meeting, I made the case about this city and what it can look like for this city if it's a place that New Yorkers can afford or if it's a place that they're pushed out of. And every single policy that the federal administration puts forward, it has impacts on this city.
Do you think he cares really about New York City? And do you have an award for him?
I don't have an award. What I will say, though, is that I'm going to exhaust every possibility. I mean, when New Yorkers elect a mayor, they're looking for someone who's going to turn over every leaf to see what is something they can do for the city. That's what I'm going to do.
I see. All right. Well, good luck. She also met that.
I appreciate the translation.
Mr. Mayor, and I love saying that. Mr. Mayor, let's talk about the unfortunate situation unfolding in Minnesota since the fatal
Stop talking about my
shooting
state.
of Renee Good, which you bluntly called a murder. The Trump administration is reportedly readying troops for deployment and investigating the Democratic mayor of Minneapolis and the governor of Minnesota for impeding immigration agents. how are you reacting to everything?
If they didn't do anything wrong, and I will say this, if they didn't do anything wrong, they should have nothing to fear. That's how most of the DOJ stuff that has been going. You know what I mean? They call you to a subpoena, they do whatever, and then you go and you get throttled in front of the Senate, and then people will share clips of it on C-SPAN, and then you go back to work. That's it. You know, no one's life has been majorly disrupted in any meaningful way.
You are seeing and
unless they did something wrong.
Importantly, do you worry they'll target New York and you?
Look, I think, first, I don't know how else to describe what we saw in Minnesota. People ask me, why did I say the word murder? I asked them to look at that video and tell me what they would call it. Mm-hmm. And we are being asked to not believe our own eyes. It's time to be truthful with people. Mm-hmm. It is terrifying to see what's happening there. And it's terrifying to see all of this happening in the name of public safety. And I've said this directly to the president, that these ICE raids, they are cruel, they are inhumane, they do nothing to deliver that public safety. In fact, what they do is leave a sense of fear amongst so many. And, you know, I represent a city of 8.5 million people. More than 3 million New Yorkers are immigrants. I'm one of them. Mm-hmm. And what we've seen this administration do is transform the very places that we used to associate with the American dream. You know, 26 Federal Plaza, you go there, your citizenship interview, you hope you can start to call yourself an American. Now it's the sign of the American nightmare. It's where people go there for what should be a routine immigration check-in. They don't know if they're going to get detained or deported. And so my job is to stand up for those New Yorkers, stand up for every New Yorker, and to say that we're going to use every tool at our disposal to ensure that what we're seeing elsewhere is not what we see in this city.
What if they send ICE agents here
Well, that
to New
kind of
York
leads
City?
to my
Are you
question, because
prepared?
the president is threatening to cut off significant federal funding to New York City and other sanctuary cities next month, arguing you're protecting criminals. Now, is he trying to coerce you to cooperate with ICE, and how will you respond if he makes good on that funding threat?
Well, what I've said is that
Is he trying to coerce you? What? Yes. Yes. Do you not know the definition of coercion? Yes. You just said exactly. You described his behavior. Would you call that coercion? Yes. You gotta ask. That's a softball. I'm sorry. That's not even. I understand the view. I'm sorry. That was such a softball that it even made me go, what?
Our values and our laws, they're not bargaining chips. I'm not looking to have a negotiation with New Yorkers' lives. We're talking about sanctuary city policies. These are policies that used to be defended by Republicans and Democrats alike, ones that keep New Yorkers safe.
Sanctuary policies, supported originally by Ronald Reagan. He had Alzheimer's. He was a nut. And his sanctuary policies ruined California as a state. Sorry to say it.
I told the president this directly, which is that what we are talking about is not people who are convicted of serious crimes. We're talking about people whose crime simply seems to be being in New York City. And if they were to make good on this threat, it would rip the civic fabric of the city apart. And so we're going to use every tool, whether that means the tools of city government.
He says that a lot. We're going to use every tool. He is Bob the Builder.
Government, the tools of the court to make our case direct.
They're trying that in Minnesota. It's not working. They're overrun by these government agents. So what are we going to do?
Masked agents.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and then this is the other thing, just masked agents.
Yeah.
You know, I am trying to inspire amongst New Yorkers a sense of faith and belief in what government can do. And it's very hard to do that when they look at masked agents and see them as another face of a similar government. Yeah. Because then they ask themselves, am I supposed to trust or am I supposed to fear? Mm-hmm. And what we want is for New Yorkers to be able to look to government as a place to solve their problems, not as a place that creates their problems. And I think, you know,
And Mr. Mayor, if I could jump in, some of your appointees have come under fire for past social media posts. This often happens when new administrations come in. Your new chief equity officer made several now deleted comments disparaging liberal white women. Your tenant advocate tweeted that home ownership was a weapon of white supremacy and called to elect more communists, among other posts.
I love how his smile disappears once you ask him about his appointees.
What message do you think this conveys to New Yorkers, and how would you push back on this?
So what I would say is that if you want to know my views or my opinions, you'll find them in my words as the mayor of New York City. And I am someone who's looking to make this a city that every New Yorker can afford. That includes those who are tenants, those who are homeowners, those who aspire to be homeowners. Because from this, we find that stability. And I think, frankly, what New Yorkers are also looking for are the outcomes. And that's what I care about, the outcomes and the excellence we deliver. And so, one example, the mayor's office to protect tenants, the executive director that we hired about 20 days ago. In those 20 days, we have taken on a landlord that had more violations than I could count. And we have secured $30 million in guaranteed repairs for thousands of those violations.
Yeah, and then guess what's going to happen with all these guaranteed repairs? If you go after the people who actually rent out these buildings, you're not going after the right people, because you know what's going to happen. They're going to realize that it's fucking expensive to go to these. It's going to be expensive to actually rent out in these cities where Democratic mayors are always going after you for the conditions of your place. So eventually, they're just going to move to cities that don't have these sorts of policies, and then the amount of property is going to go down. The amount of actual people flowing in is going to go down. And then the city itself is going to be, it's going to have, once the level of actual available property goes down, prices go up. What is his plan here?
Sometimes when a politician tells you this, it sounds intangible. It just sounds like stats and statistics that you'll never feel and know. We have someone in the audience, Josie, who was a tenant that I met on that first day I was the mayor. I went into her apartment. She showed me living conditions that no one should ever see in this city. And I could see and feel the rust falling off my hands.
Yeah.
And I asked her, how long have you been living with this? And she pointed at her 20-something-year-old son and said, before he was born.
Wow.
And now that $30 million, that commitment, that's going to fix her apartment and so many other tenants' apartments.
I'll give him credit for his ability to improve actual lives. So was Herbert Hoover. Herbert Hoover was able to improve he was a great humanitarian, you know what I mean? And that's one thing a lot of people don't give him credit for. He was also largely responsible responsible. I'll give him large credit, though, for not doing anything to prevent the Great Depression. So, I will say there's a lot of things to feel confident about. Maybe if you're a New Yorker, maybe if you like his style of governance. But if you're the average fella, be nervous that he's the Obama. Be nervous that he is the future of the party. I'm just saying, this kind of smooth talker that half answers every question, doesn't really give you a direct thing. He's gonna be the nominee in either 28 or 32. Just saying, just predicting the future. He will be the vice president nominee next year, or the presidential candidate. That's all I can say. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. I loved it. I had a great time putting these stories together for you. I hope that you enjoyed it. I can't wait for tomorrow's broadcast. It's Friday tomorrow, so it'll be our final one for the week, and then we got next week. I look forward to it. Subscribe if you want more, like if you liked it. In the meantime, I'll catch you in tomorrow's broadcast. This has been Ollie Volt Larson with your Brain on Air. Thank you so much for listening, and bye-bye.